Students for Sensible Drug Policy is committed to providing education on harms caused by the war on drugs, working to involve youth in the political process, and promoting an open, honest, and rational discussion of alternative solutions to our nation's drug problems. Starting at the Rochester Institute of Technology, Students for Sensible Drug Policy and its message has spread to over 100 campus chapters in just 2 years. This growth demonstrates deep-rooted student concerns over the direction of our nation's drug policy. Bringing together students from a broad interest base, SSDP's membership represents diverse viewpoints, with the common theme of challenging our nation's failing drug war.
I'm involved with SSDP because I see a lot of injustices going on both in the United States and the rest of the world that are just atrocious, and I can see that there's much that I can do about it.
I found that people were more accepting of what we wanted to say to them because we weren't just talking about marijuana, but we were trying to approach all the issues that the drug war touches on.
As soon as they realize that, we're the DARE generation and they're using our name to perpetuate policies that we don't agree with, as soon as they make that connection, they're really willing to get involved in SSDP.
The war on drugs was really a war on youth, a war on poor youth, and a war on people of color, and I thought it was the most pressing issue for young people today.
For the past 30 years, the drug war has been waged to protect our children. The reality is, we have over 500,000 nonviolent drug offenders behind bars. Our government is spending billions of dollars a year on enforcement and interdiction. And still, young people have universal access to drugs. Coined the DARE generation, college students today are the children this war is supposed to protect. Students for Sensible Drug Policy is uniting students across the country to educate the public about the harms caused by the drug war.
In 1965, Lyndon Johnson created the Higher Education Act to provide college money for students who come from lower income backgrounds. In 1998, Representative Souter introduced a drug provision denying federal funds to college students with prior drug convictions. Our most recent estimates show that about 60,000 students are going to lose their federal aid to attend college. Educators are joining with Students for Sensible Drug Policy in our efforts to have this law repealed. Recently, at Hampshire College, about 45 financial aid administrators signed a provision calling for the repeal of this law. In addition to trying to get this law repealed, we have also created a scholarship program, Students Helping Students, trying to replace the aid money lost by those students affected by this law.
Nationwide, about a quarter of the people in prison, a quarter of about 2 million people in prisons, jails, juvenile detention facilities are there for drug offenses. In the states where prison populations have roughly tripled in the last 20 years, the spending for higher education has stagnated or gone down.
The Clinton administration approved a $1.3 billion heavily militarized aid package for Colombia to fight the drug war at the source, despite the fact that there are many studies that show that this is the least effective means for reducing drug consumption in the United States, if that is truly what we're concerned about. The spray that we're using, it's a broad-spectrum herbicide called glyphosate, which there's a milder form of it you can buy in the hardware store. It's called Roundup. And you can read the warning labels on that, and that's a mild version of it. And we're dumping this by air, hundreds of thousands of gallons of this stuff, on one of the most delicate and diverse ecosystems in the world.
The national media is taking note of Students for Sensible Drug Policy's explosive growth and impact.
Well, I think we definitely need to draw a line between harm to yourself and when you're doing harm to society, such as drinking and driving and things of that nature. I think former drug czar Barry McCaffrey put it best when he said that treatment works better than locking them up.
Well, when do you stop paying your debt to society? I mean, you've gotten sentenced by your judge. The judge had the discretion to take away your federal financial aid in the first place, and now the federal government is making blanket policy that's taking the discretion away from judges. And
23-year-old Chris Sperry was hoping to get a degree in biology and become a teacher. But after a few months in college, he lost his federal financial aid and was forced to drop out. The reason? He has 2 drug convictions involving marijuana.
Tens of thousands may lose federal financial aid this fall because the Bush administration plans to enforce a little-known provision in the 1998 Higher Education Act. Marissa Garcia, on her aid application, admitted a drug charge, unaware that would disqualify her. She'd already paid a $415 fine for a pipe containing drug residue.
I mean, it's pretty much my mom supporting us, so it was kind of hard. She was real worried. She didn't want me to have to lose my education for something as stupid as having a pipe in my car.
From a national student organization called Students for Sensible Drug Policy, and on July 1st, an estimated 100,000 students are going to be denied or even delayed federal financial aid.
Activists in colleges have a tremendous amount of power, more so, I think, than many of them realize. And it's important to know how to leverage that power, how to focus it.
Now is the time to continue the momentum and force an open, honest, and rational debate over alternatives to the drug war. Join students around the country standing up for change. Visit ssdp.org or call 202-293-4414 to find out about a chapter at your school and to receive a free organizing packet. If you are not a student, become a member of SSDP online to support the student movement.